Good morning. It is 8 o'clock Eastern. Good to see you. It's your friend James Shaw. Thank you so much for being here this morning and happy Thursday. I'm glad you're here. We are going to wrap up the conversation we had yesterday. We had that person jump in the Facebook group and say, who has taken 10 listings over 2 months? In other words, 5 listings a month. Who's taken 5 listings a month? And how'd you do it? And we had so many hands up yesterday sharing what they had done that we just didn't get them all in. So we're going to put a bow on that today. Why? Not because I think you should take 5 listings a month. For some of you, if all you took was 5 listings a month, you'd go out of business. And others of you, if you took 5 listings in a month, you don't even have the infrastructure to handle that or provide the service to it. But it's to show you what's possible and that there are listings in this market. So we're going to help you with that. But before we do that, something good. Crystal, welcome home.
Thank you so much. I'm really excited to share that while I went away for a few days, I had the opportunity of having 3 sales of referrals by people in this group. So this group is your best connection to knowledge, expertise, and wonderful realtors.
I
Thank you.
love that. That is awesome. Crystal, welcome home. Hey, Rhett Campbell.
Hey, good morning, James. I wanted to say that I've had my best month ever this month, and I capped yesterday,
Yes. When's your anniversary?
May the 1st.
May 1st. Listen, Rhett Campbell gets 11 months at a Hundo P.
Yeah, I'm very, very blessed, James, and thank all of y'all for investing in me. And just great thanks to God and my clients.
Good things happening here. We got babies getting born. We got people getting referrals while they're on vacation. We got people camping in 30 days. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's get after it. Good morning. Thank you for being here. Sorry, I'm not going to get everybody in this morning, but I want you to take listings. Do you know that when the market slows, that your need for listings grows? I just made that up. I'm a poet. When the market slows, your need for listings grows. In fact, here's what happens. You've got to take more listings just to sell the same. And sometimes I find people go, but my listings aren't selling. Why would I take more? Because it takes more to sell the same. Right? It used to take one listing to sell one listing. And by the way, some of you are in a market where it still takes just one listing to sell one listing. You take one listing, you sell it, cash money records. But eventually it becomes 2 listings to sell one, or 3 listings to sell one, or 4 listings to sell one, or 5 listings to sell one. And the truth is that your path to the goal doesn't change, but the path to the goal changes. That you just simply have to ramp up your listing inventory in order to hit your goals. And so I want to help you do that. And the question came up in Pivot about who's taken 5 listings a month and how are you doing it? And we had a bunch of hands. And thank you to Sasha for making the recommendation that we do back-to-back calls on this. Sasha is always looking out for this community and making sure that we are talking about the most valuable things. So Sasha, I love you. I mean that. Because I appreciate you just saying, hey, let's keep the conversation going. So if you had your hand up yesterday and I didn't get to you, get it back up today. If you're someone that's taking 5 listings a month, I want to hear how you're doing it and what's working for you. Let's continue to brainstorm and mastermind. And again, it's for you to take notes so that you know what's possible. Not because I think you should take 5 a month, but that you can get ideas to make sure you're ramping up your listing inventory. Bonnie, good morning.
Hey, good morning. Thanks so much for giving me an opportunity. Yesterday, a theme that came up a lot and was not wrong is consistency. And I think that absolutely plays a role. But I think the other thing that I see a lot of new agents, as well as agents that get a little bit panicked about the state of their business, start doing is a shotgun approach. They just start hitting different stuff over and over again. And what I have learned about taking listings is you've got to apply that consistency very strategically. So if you're going to do open houses, don't treat open houses just as the event. Think about all of the lead up communication you're doing and who are you touching. Or if you're farming that neighborhood with circle prospecting and phone calls and letters, then touch them all the way up to the open house and then follow up with them after, because it's that multiple touch that's going to get you in somebody's head. I had an agent recently tell me they sent out postcards to just like this random zip code and they were like, I haven't gotten anything. And I said, no, how else are you touching them? I said, you just threw $400 away. You've got to, what is your plan to continue touching them and stay in front of them? So for me, it's about being strategic and not just consistent, and make sure you're touching them repeatedly. If you're going to farm, farm. If you're going to do open houses, go deep, not just wide. That's my recommendation.
It goes back to what Rico said on the pre-show just a minute ago, is that he knows where his business is coming from, so he knows where to double down. And but I agree with you that agents will, when they get behind or get nervous or don't have enough leads in the pipeline, they just start doing random things that they have never done before that they have no idea if they'll work. And that is a horrible idea. That is a horrible idea. Instead of going and looking where are the leads coming from and doubling down on those activities or amplifying what you're doing with that group already. That's what we got to do. Bonnie, thank you. Great job. Lisa Rhodes, good morning.
Thank you for the opportunity, James. And you nailed it. Knowing where your leads are coming from and where your past business is, that's where mine are coming from. Past referrals, past clients, my community involvement, hosting open houses and referrals, and the follow-up, staying in touch, taking some things from your playbooks, Jenny Wallach, having those coffees with past clients, staying in touch with them, and just always being involved with your community, sponsoring other youth events. I have my name plastered in probably 5 different communities on small billboards. People see me out and about at all types of events because I have 8 grandchildren. So I'm everywhere in the community. And so that's how I'm building my business, and that's how I'm getting my referrals. I have a lot of listings, and I also do stay focused on open houses. I do multiple open houses a week. I do 1-hour open houses. And Lainey Lane, I want to shout out to her. Her signs that she puts out at one open house, 20 on one road. I did that. It works. People pull in. So just doing the work, staying consistent day in and day out weekly, that will keep you in the forefront. The Pivot Shift family, getting referrals from people all over the countryside, and just staying in front of other people day in and day out will get your business growing.
Learn the plays and run the plays. You said something really smart. Go find the playbooks and then do what the playbooks say. And I think, Lisa, for you as an example, you take something you're already doing well, but then we have likely interviewed someone who's doing something maybe a little bit differently or maybe a little bit getting a little bit better result or has a tiny different approach. And you can go and look at that and go, all right, what do I need to add to my strategy that I'm already doing? And I promise you, any lead gen strategy that anyone on this call is running, we have interviewed someone about. Like we have talked to them. There are no original ideas. We have interviewed someone about whatever strategy you're doing. And so if you're stuck and you're not getting the result you want, you go to jamesdshaw.com. Do you know about this, y'all? Do you know about jamesdshaw.com? I'll show it to you. Let me just show you jamesdshaw.com. If you go to jamesdshaw.com, right here, stand by. All right, you go to jamesdshaw.com. This is the website, jamesdshaw.com. And you click agent interviews. Okay, what do you want a strategy on? You want open house? All right, let's search open house. You type open house right here under agent interviews. There's Rico right there, having a baby doing open houses. The high impact open house strategies your sellers will love. Like it's all right here. It's all right here. Everything you want. So, and then if you click on it, by the way, click on Rico's, right? And then there's an article that goes with it too that goes step by step. And then usually for an Inspire member, there's a downloadable. There is some sort of downloadable. For example, this call was good yesterday. Samantha Johnson's call was really good yesterday. But like you go to the Carrie one, all right, so Carrie did her CMA. We have the interview. We have the NKOTB on how to do it. And then Inspire members, you log into the portal to download her pricing guide. It'll take you right there to find it. Where do you find it? So if you're an Inspire member, take you right there in the portal. There it is. And then, sorry, let me scroll back up. Here's the pricing guide. This is the downloadable is for our Inspire members only. Come on, there we go. Does the PDF, Darlene, popping up on the screen? Does it say how to guide for your how-to guide? Yeah, it pops up right there. Y'all, it's everything you're doing. We have already done an interview on. Go look it up. Go run the play. Darlene, you're next. Good morning.
Hi, thanks for the opportunity. So everything is there, and that is such a great resource. What we do is simply stay in flow with our people. We mail to about about 440 people every month just to stay top of mind and let them, I don't care if they read it or not, they see something in their hands. And even if it's a moment of throwing it in the garbage, they see my hands or they see my name. So one of the things that we do with our listing appointments, so we average probably, I don't know, 5 to 6, something like that a month. But as far as listings taken, but our goal is to take is to go on 8 appointments. So with that, we have quite a pipeline. It doesn't mean that we're not getting those other listings. It's just they're not ready right this moment. So then we put into the pipeline and we have to stay in touch with them, or we're going to drive around and see somebody else's sign in the yard. And that just sucks. One of the big things that we do to find our A+ people, like the ones that are going to refer, like that 440 people that we mail to every month, only about 22 of them are A+ clients. What that means is that when they think, or when their friends think, or their neighbors think of real estate in any way, they say, you got to call Darlene. So the key is to figure out a way to find those people. And there's a few that are in our like geographic area, I hope never move, because they're like little mayors in their own little communities. And they have the finger on the heartbeat of what's going on there. So we tend to, just stay in touch with those people more than anyone else. I think a great way to find those people if you're just starting, and this could wrap in, I think you could put this on steroids, really just Facebook post, hey, we're looking for a great, date night to go out, what do you recommend? The people that recommend will absolutely be your A+, because they
That's smart.
like to give people out. But steroids now. I was thinking, I totally forget his name, but he was just on your YouTube, and he does the giveaway to the fancy restaurants. And
Yeah, that's Keith O'Hare, I think is his name.
okay. And one of the things I thought of, I kind of mixed those together, was what if you put out a Facebook post saying, I'm looking for something to do a giveaway to a fancy place in town. What do you recommend? And then you're putting real estate into that, but you're also still asking for a recommendation. I think that would truly get a buzz, because then those people that are, again, the referrers, would be watching for that to come up.
That is
So
really smart to know who your referrers are and do that by asking for referrals for local things. That's so smart. And then you can tag these people in your database as referrers, and then you know to just do maybe a tiny bit more with them. That's elite. Y'all, that's why you came today. It is Keith O'Hare who did the giveaway thing with the Angus Barn in Raleigh. And so I just dropped the link for the session I did with him in the chat. Irene, good morning in Toronto.
Good morning from Toronto. Thank you so much, James. Everything everybody said is truly amazing. And the other thing that you really have to keep in mind and not lose sight of is when you're doing follow-up, make sure that your leads, the ones that you don't think are doing anything, are being called. So our drips are great, our emails are great, our giveaways are great. We do all of that. And in addition to calling past clients in Sphere, we have our whole nurture database organized by hot, warm, cold. And the hot people we call at least once a month, the warm people every 2 months, and the cold people every 3 to 4 months, depending on their timeline, because you don't know when people's plans are going to change. Sometimes they tell you something and you know that their lives can present another opportunity. So in addition to the electronic touches and all the automations, you have to pick up the phone, leave a message. If they don't answer, I send a little follow-up text. Hey, James, I just left you a message in case it's easier for you to reply, calling to see if anything's changed with your plans, or something like that, that does put real estate in and has you in a position to take advantage of the opportunity if there is one.
So good. Really smart. The last time we talked, you told me your plan was to do blank. Is that still your plan? It's just staying in touch. Thanks, Irene. Hey, Jess, good morning.
Hey, good morning, friend. I just wanted to say I think it's real important that you track all the sources of every lead that you get, whether a buyer or seller. We do that for every single sale we have and every lead that comes in, so that we can go back to those sources later and either say thank you, call them again, see if we can help with anybody else. But we use that as our main point of contact. And we just, at every team meeting we have every week, we track our sources. Anytime we post a closing, we track the source. So again, at the end of year, when we have our team recap, we also go back and see what percentage of business came from each source that we got, whether that was an agent to agent referral, or that was a certain person that sent us X amount of referrals, or maybe it was a system that we had that we use, like our online reviews. Whatever it is that we're using at the time, we want to track it. And if we're paying for something, we want to hold our money accountable to it. So if it's not showing us the return, we want to cancel it or renegotiate.
Really good. you get detailed tracking, so that not just past client or I learned this from Kathy Russell, who's on the call. When I started with her, people would say, "Well, I saw your sign," and she was always wanting to know, "Well, which one? Like
Yep.
which sign did you see?" Well, I see your signs everywhere. Well, was there one that prompted you to call me today? Like just to get as narrow as you can in the lead source is really important. Tim Johnson, good morning.
Hey, good morning. And I'm with you, James. My form of camping is Fort Wilderness as well. I may
Exactly.
look like a mountain man, but I'm not staying in a tent.
Now you will
So
golf,
I will.
yeah, but the camping in a tent, Tim Johnson and James Shaw are out.
Yeah, no, give me
Yeah,
a 4-star hotel with a nice golf course and I'm
that's
good.
right.
So,
Yeah.
all right. So what Jess just said, it's so true as far as tracking. So going into to this year, obviously in Western North Carolina, we just had, a natural disaster last year, and so we knew things were going to be different this year. And so we started tracking some of the things, and one of the things that I saw, not only in my teams, what was happening as far as where our listings were coming from and sales and everything, but some of my good friends was we're seeing a lot of people who have short-term rentals and things like that, putting them on the market right now. We live in a big second home community where a lot of people have investment properties, so we've been seeing that. So we came up with an idea of kind of like off of my letter campaign, which we've done. uh, we've gotten over 30 listings this year from the letter campaign. So, but we kind of tweaked it to short-term rentals. So what I did is I started reaching out to all my people who had bought in short-term rentals over the last 5, 6, 7 years, and started talking to them to see how their numbers were looking and trending, because we're not seeing the people come back to Western North Carolina quite yet. A little bit, but not like the numbers have been in the past. So then I started looking at some of the other short-term rentals, kind of like a buyer adoption program, because we have that in place on our team as well. We do a buyer adoption program, but I started looking at some of the local rental companies that rent short-term rentals, that they also put on Airbnb and VRBO and all that stuff. So when we started looking at that and started sending letters to them, we are starting to get calls in from those people of, hey, we might be interested because our numbers aren't as great as they were. And so, I think it's sometimes you have to go with what you know, but you also got to think outside the box just a little
Yes.
bit
Yeah.
and
Yes.
track where your business is coming from and what that business looks like. If it's, we're not seeing a lot of people move right now who are changing situations, upgrading, downgrading. We're seeing a little bit, but we're seeing a ton of those rentals and short-term rentals hit the market, not just ours, but others. So we're like, okay, we know there's an active buyer or seller pool out there for that. So we've jumped into it, and we're getting a lot of business that way.
I love it. I'm putting the link to yours. I guess I put the wrong link in. Tim's expired campaign. There we go. The when you know where the business is coming from, then you can make the tweaks necessary to get more leads from it. So get
100%.
clear on what's working for you. By the way, Inspire members, you have Tim's letter. Everyone has access to what Tim is doing in the link I just gave you, but Inspire members, you have Tim's letter. We're going to go over today. Is that all right? Can we go over? Because I want to get Sherry, Maria, and Meg in. So just stick around.
Yes,
There is
James,
nothing
it's
you have
all
to hop
right.
off this call for. Hey, Betty, there is nothing you have to hop off this call for, y'all. So just stay here for like 3 more minutes. Okay? Because you don't have enough listings. And Sherry and Maria and Meg are going to tell you how to get them. Somebody just left. Whatever. I didn't like you anyway. Sherry Lamb.
Hey there. How are y'all today?
Good.
Good. All right. Well, I have been honored to be on Maria Sim's team for 15 plus years. And what we did at the beginning was hustle and grit. We fell forward a lot, but we realized over a couple of years that the best way to grow your business was to take care of the clients when you have them as a client and talk to them at times when they're not paying you. Nurture, nurture, nurture. You like that, James?
Yes.
Yes. So, and I'm a highly competitive, driven,
Yes, you are.
kind of crazy person when it comes to that kind of stuff. But over years, I have learned that if I come from a place of giving and serving, that it has changed our business. It's not about taking listings. I hate that word. It's about receiving a listing from past clients who love us and want to continue to use us. And if our team continues to have the same moral high ground and do the best job and don't do things that are less than, I don't really have the right word, but just to
Well, you
stay
have standards and
focused.
you know what those standards are, and you're running the
Yes.
plays you need to run in order to meet the standard.
Yes. And our
Yeah.
standard, of course, is 25 listings a month, which I know probably freaks some people out and it's probably done enough for others. But Maria always says to me, Sherry, I need more listings. And then boom, by the grace of God, one shows up.
But she says it in a really sweet way.
She
And
does. She talks like this.
yes, she does, and we're about to hear from her. And there's only 25 homes in her entire town, but she's going to
Oh,
list
come
them all.
on.
Maria Sims, you follow this up. Sherry's pumping you up. I've been hearing some rumors about you over the last couple of days. What's on your mind about taking listings?
Well, first off, I can die a happy woman because Sherry Lamb, if everyone could be so lucky to have a lifelong partner and friend like her, you're a lucky person. We've grown up together. We started in the business together. We're almost the same age. Sherry didn't have her camera on, but I'll say we're almost the same age. But she's right. We realized coming from a place of service and contribution was the only way to go. And it is, our passion. We just happen to sell houses, but we wake up every day ready to serve our community, willing to help anywhere we can, educating the clients, and they always come back and they don't forget. And you know what? They sometimes they're not a good culture fit for you, and so then they leave, and that takes care of it. But what I can tell you is, if you find out who you are, you pick 3 or 4 ways that you're going to choose to do business, and you are hyper focused and do those over and over and over. Very boring, very repetitive, but at the highest standard you can put in, you will have all the listings you want.
I heard a rumor about you.
It's probably not true.
Meg Dady is spreading rumors about you. Meg, what did you say,
You're
Maria?
throwing me under the bus. I don't want to share this because I don't want Maria's phone to blow up. So, I
Maria,
mean,
you have a
Maria is an
contact goal.
inspiration to me.
You have a contact goal a week.
Yeah, we do.
Maria's a huge inspiration. So,
Well,
I'm just going to
I'm
leave
going
it
to put
at
her on the
that.
spot, but y'all don't call Maria and ask how she's doing it because when you hear the goal, she doesn't have time to talk to you about it anyway. But it's
No.
use it as an understanding that whatever your contact goal is absolutely possible because Maria Sims, your contact goal per week is how many?
Well, we do it per month, and it was 10,500 is the number we came up with. And that is not just
10,000
classes,
contacts a month.
10,500 of
Excuse me.
value added contacts. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. How is one pulling that off? That's like 200 a day.
Did you just hear Sherry Lamb? I have the hands down best people in the industry working with me. So I'm in good shape. We have a great, cool, and we make it fun. We show up ready to dial, and we are all in it together. And you know what? It is a party. So if y'all want to roll on up to Canton, Georgia and realize how prospecting can be fun, come see us.
Do not call Maria Sims. Do not call her. Do not text her. Do not ask her what she's doing. She doesn't have time for that. But if you're going to give a pro tip for someone who's struggling to make contacts, what is it? Don't worry about how many, by the way, hold on.
Yeah,
time out, Maria, time out. Do not worry about how many people on the team, how many people are dialing, who are we, don't listen. Just get the foundation of what works. Y'all get too hyper focused on some of this stuff. Maria, what is your advice to the person who's struggling to make contacts?
Pick a number, commit to yourself, and freaking do it. I get so sick of people just not showing up for themselves. So if your number is 5, if your number is 20, or if your number is 10,000, it does not matter. It is your number, and you are the woman or the man for the job for your number. You do not have to be me. You do not have to be anybody else, and just show up and do the darn thing.
See, if you've done your lid and kind of figured out what the business is about and what's important to it, then you know what the foundational activities are that you have to do it. And then you can take the tracker, by the way. If you don't want to track a number of contacts, go take the Inspired tracker and figure out, is 30 points right for me, or do I only need 15, or do I need 45, or however many points do you need, and then go pursue it. Maria, you're the best. Meg Dady, you get the last word.
I don't know how I can follow that because Maria is one of the many people that I look up to, and she's not giving herself enough credit because her individual part of that contact goal is extremely high and much higher than I have ever thought to do or thought possible. And I think that is something that I've learned from this group is like the people like Jack and Maria and Irene who are MREAs are the ones putting in the work. Yes, they have a big team, but they are personally doing a lot of contacts every single day. And it took me like way too long to realize that. So that was really helpful for me to hear directly from Maria, and I need that reminder every day. But I on taking listings, I think something that's really been clear to me this year is our upsizers that make up a huge part of my database are not moving. They're locked in, and we still have extremely low inventory. Downsizers are another big part of the database, and they're not doing anything either. So I really had to start thinking about like who within the database is actually has some motivation to move, and how can I find more of those people. So we have taken a few like estate sale, divorce listings, people, most of it are people moving out of state. But what I really started looking at is, okay, of those upsizers, who has like just had their second kid? So they're really running out of space in that 2-bedroom condo. And we can tailor our events to people who now have 2 kids under 3 or moms. And just we're still doing the same things that we did, but even more targeted toward the people who have some sort of motivation.
I think that's the lesson here. You heard it from Tim. You heard it from Irene. You heard it from Darlene. You heard it from everybody who shared today, is that they're narrowing their focus to the place that's going to get them the most opportunity. And then they're doubling down on the activity there. They're not sporadic in their efforts. Maria's doing 200 contacts a day. It's not sporadic in her effort. Meg is not sporadic. She's very focused. I mean, Meg beats herself up all the time when she's actually accomplishing great things. Tim knows where the business is coming from and has taken something he already has foundationally and improved it to get a better return. Darlene said, I need to know if I want to up my number of referrals, I need to know who the referral givers are in my database. Like it's just, so but here's the thing to think about is, where's your business coming from? And how do you provide more value to that community? How do you connect with them at a deeper level to earn the opportunity when they're ready? And like where Meg is right now, people aren't upsizing or downsizing. They are, just way fewer. So she has to work, put in more effort and more focused time to find that group. And then there will be a payoff because it won't stay like this forever. There will come a time that the person says, screw the high interest rates and the higher price. We cannot live like this anymore. Call Meg. Like that will happen. And we overanalyze a season in the business. And we get, what does he say? We overestimate what we can accomplish in 1 year, but underestimate what we can accomplish in 5. I think Gary says that. And we just get so, oh, no one's doing anything because for a month you didn't take a listing from that group. So let's zoom out, and then zoom back in. Zoom out and get the perspective about where's the business and what's going to happen, and then zoom in on who do I need to talk to regularly so I can pump my pipeline full of leads. Y'all, this call was free, and it was one of the best pivot calls we have ever had in the history of Pivot. So put it on repeat, and damn it, bring your friends on this call. All the people in your office who are complaining about the fact they have no business, ask them where they spent 29 minutes this morning, and then share this with them. I love you all. You got your inspiration. Go put in the perspiration. Peace out.